Infinity Esports have the first ban. Honestly, I don't see them banning the Uther. It's more of a red side ban, because if red side don't ban that Uther, it's definitely first pick worthy. And we've seen Infinity Esports put that Uther to work previously, so we will see what they do. They're opting to ban an Abathur here. Now, Abathur very strong on Cursed Hollow with his global presence, his ability to dart between different lanes using his deep tunnels, and also the ability to just hat wherever he wants to, means that he can put a massive experience lead in this. So a pretty good takeout, not something we've seen from Fire in the Host, but with both these teams being Spanish, they might know more about each other than we know.
Yeah, I mean, Curse Hollow, as you say, it is a good map for Abathur because of how big it is. So, a reasonable ban, especially if they don't necessarily know what they want to ban. We saw Johanna as a strong ban a couple of games ago, so potentially would have liked to see her out. But the Uther ban comes out, and Infinity pretty quickly then follow up with the first pick, Kael'thas, and Fire in the Host then go Tyrande, Sonya. We know what we like, we know what we play, and they've done it very, very well so far.
Two things we've seen work for them really well in the last two games. Just the last game they've had both Tyrande and Sonya. The game before they opted to have just the Tyrande. So yeah,
I think they banned out the Sonya themselves.
They did, yeah, and now they're able to pick it up. They're doing some work with it. Infinity taking that Muradin, obviously trying to make sure Fire in the Host don't have the Muradin to back up the Sonya, because that is a terrifying thing to have to face. And most likely going to be, I would guess, either a second tank or a support pickup here before we go to the next ban phase, because if they do pick up a support such as a Karazim, allows them to perhaps ban something you think the Tyrande might go with, like a Tassadar or just some whatever support you think Tyrande is going to work well with. Tassadar, Malfurion, whatever.
I think
you want
Tassadar less so. I think she works well with a solo support, like a legitimate solo support. Whilst Tassadar, his shielding was buffed immensely, I think she works best with Karazim. With, say, a Brightwing, and then like Morales, and then the other kind of much more standard supports. And the reason I say Karazim top is because he has the option to take Seven-Sided Strike, and on top of that, his healing's very non-targeted. So you put in those extra heals, as well as that hardcore initiation with the Shadow Stalk and Disengage, something Karazim can't really provide his team with, and it just kind of, it fills in all the gaps and you don't lose much damage.
No, yeah, you probably are perfectly right there. And I didn't think about the Brightwing, actually. Brightwing with the Tyrande would be very, very strong, just for the exact same reasons that you just talked about Karazim being strong. She's not particularly targeted with her heals, and does allow you to fill the gaps then with the Tyrande. So probably a Brightwing pickup, especially if they're going to go for a very similar comp to what we saw last time. Infinity Esports, though, are going to take the Butcher off Fire in the Host. So, learning from the last game, obviously they probably kept their eye on what went on after their game was finished, and the Butcher having done quite a bit of work there, Infinity Esports are just like, no, we'll just take that out of the pool, we don't want to deal with that.
So Shaq, in fact, in the chat says he's definitely going to be there in Insomnia, which would be great. I'll give him a big hug, and we'll get absolutely hammered on Saturday night together, I'm sure.
No, I'm not sure whether I'm staying camping or staying at home, but if that's the plan, I might have to camp.
Hopefully I'll be casting, so they'll put me up in a nice fancy hotel, and everything will be paid for.
You need to get me in on this action. So Fire in the Host having their double pick now after the bans, they have opted for that Malfurion support. So Malfurion's Tranquility, a nice big AoE heal, and also going to be able to target with the regrowth. Tyrande able to just back up those targeted heals.
You say Tranquility. I actually would really love to see Twilight Dream. Now, the reason I say that, Twilight Dream does a lot of damage. You can't underestimate the damage. But on top of that, the 4-second silence, I believe it is. It's Sylvanas' Wailing Arrow in a bigger area on a support. You already have a big healing ultimate coming out of Tyrande with the Shadow Stalker. Yes, it's not as big as say a Tranquility is, but you combine that with the silence. I mean, that's why Seven-Sided Strike is so good with Tyrande. That's why Karazim's so good. because it provides that. But you put Twilight Dream in with and don't lose it out on the healing you would have gained from Tranquility because you've got that second support. I'd love to see that. That would be scary. So the last couple of picks, we're going to get Zagara and Leoric. Pretty safe picks out from Infinity. And Fire and the Host coming out with their big old Stitches again. Stitches Jaina worked out well for them. That Stitches Tyrande in the first game, and Jaina just does a lot of work anyway. So going to get to see some big hooks.
Last couple of picks really changing this comp. That base Tyrande Sonya does seem to give Fire and the Host a lot of choice of where they want to go. In the first game, we did see them pick up the Stitches and doing a lot of a very pick comp. They're using the Stitches to pull somebody out of the team, taking them down before they do go on to the 4 versus 5. Then they saw them rotate it out and instead moving towards that very melee-heavy grind comp that we saw in the last game where they were just able to blitz and burst things down. And now we're moving back towards that pick comp with the Butcher being banned out this time. And Kael'thas is going to be the main target that Stitches is going to want to hook, but he's not going to complain if he gets a Zagara or a Leoric because they most likely can burst that Leoric down before his self-healing does kick in there. So once again, I do think Fire and the Host have a fantastic a draft there.
Yeah, I've loved their double support. Sorry, we're just getting some lobby issues here. I love the double support things coming out here. From any team that does it, Fire and the Host have been doing it so consistently and so well. So we're actually going to all leave this lobby.
Okay.
And rejoin a diff one. So I will invite you if I can. I may have to leave your party. So
your party,
I'm going to
leader.
ask. Well, you started it. Oh, okay. So the lobby's now disbanded, and now Macula's saying that we can invite. We left as well. I'll remake. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly remake this. Was it Cursed Hollow?
It was Cursed Hollow. We are fighting in Raventown. It's not quite good as Dragontown, but maybe it's Ravenville. Not quite decided. We'll see.
Wow.
Apparently, we are playing for Infinity eSports at the moment, which is news to me. I will.
I will. I can't. I'm just gonna. Oh, jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna have to briefly kick you, and then I'm gonna put you. Oh, I'm gonna have to kick you, and then I'm gonna have to invite you again. Okay, so can you rejoin the lobby, please?
I am in the lobby. Please do move me to a spectator slot.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, all good. Okay, so let's make sure all the teams are sorted. Well, I'm actually going to swap Inception up there, Kren with Michiko. Shevatas is with...
You have to remember who's with what team, right?
Yeah. Okay, so making sure...
Infinity eSports should be Macula, Shevatas, Kanda, Kren and Inception, I believe.
We've got Urini as well. So Urini and Shevatas swap over. All good. Yep, I was everything but one team, so I was almost all there. Everything's good, so let's get into this. Nobody can actually see what's going on here, so I'm actually going to go into the tournament scene. I haven't forgotten, guys, don't worry. Take you out of the dark there. And yeah, getting into this now. We're going to have some cool skins on my side. I've got we've got Master Zagara, Master Kael'thas, good old Verkil Leoric, and Goku Karazim coming out here.
So we got a... I'm seeing the same as you are, so apparently we're seeing the same sides right now.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I can't really...
I
complain.
do like the Goku Karazim. It is actually the skin I tend to play when I play my Karazim. So I went this weekend to see Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Good little film if you are a fan of Dragon Ball Z.
I used to be. I used to be a decent fan of it, but it was after, I think it was... Oh, I can't remember his name. That was like Baby Boo or something like that, was it?
Yeah, that was the final saga of the actual main storyline.
That was the last thing I watched.
So everything after that's now been written out. There's a new series called Dragon Ball Super, which has just been started up and is worth a watch, which carries on after the Buu saga and does Battle of the Gods and leads into this Resurrection F, which is going to be the next saga of it. But they did a movie of it, which is fantastic to see Frieza back. But anyway, enough about Dragon Ball. We're here to watch some Heroes of the Storm.
Yes.
We're going on to Cursed Hollow. We're going to see Infinity eSports playing off against Fire in the Host. They're not Fire in the Hots, they're Fire in the Host. You misspelled your name and now you're going to stick with it. So, Cursed Hollow, we talked about this earlier. You need to collect the Raven tributes. If you get 3 of them, you will curse your enemies. Curses are bad. They stop your guns firing, they make your minions drop to 1 health, and the enemy just has a tendency to wreck your base while it's going on. Right, so we are back onto the Hollow, over on the blue side. Going to reintroduce the guys that we introduced. We're going to reintroduce them anyway. Infinity Esports. My game has crashed. Fantastic. Do you want to take it over, Steph?
Yes, Infinity Esports is being played by Makalena, team captain on the Kael'thas, Inception playing that Muskin Zagara, Shevatos on that Money Pig, Goku, Karazim, Kren going to be playing that Muradin, and meanwhile in top lane Kandar is going to be playing Verkul Leoric. We've got a 5-man squad on the other side, the red team, currently, which is Team Fire and the Host, the team we've been following the entire time so far. Malfurion can be played by C0, heading bottom lane solo actually at the moment. Miss Kodge playing the superhero Sonya. Maximus again on his Stitches. Urini on that Jaina, and Red Ground, the captain, on Tyrande, as he has been every single game. So might even see respect bans coming up against Red Ground in the future. Now my Skype has disconnected, so you will be getting these noises going on in the background. As Nick has completely died, so we will hopefully be getting him back as soon as possible, guys. In the meantime, three members of Infinity down in the bottom lane, and 3 members of Fire Hosts down. Up in the middle lane in comparison. So a good push is going to be happening bottom. Karazin able to chunk out towers quite happily, plus the fact that Zagara is a good pusher by herself. Meanwhile, the creep tumor is coming down. A really good attempted hook there, just about got a creep, only just missed the second I believe. Creep tumors are going to be really, really useful for Infinity Sports in order to scout out these ganks coming in. We actually see this happening. Not going to be too worried about this. Really good positioning by Inception, constantly coming up here, stopping any potential body blocks to get behind the gate, and that's why he was positioning over there. Meanwhile, Muradin still soaking mid lane, Leoric and Jaina still soaking top, and hopefully we'll be able to get Nick back as soon as possible. I'm going to message him just to make sure he knows to call as soon as we're back, and we will have as least disruption as possible for everybody. So it is just me. Apologies for this. Technical issues on my co-caster's side, but the game's going pretty much expecting nothing happening. Kind of at the moment, as we tend to see on Cursed Hollow, it tends to be quite a stalemate initially. Now we've got Sea Giants being taken here for the side of Fire in the Host, and Infinity Esports not taking their hard campers. We potentially expect them to see this sort of timing, which is before the 2-minute mark, is when you tend to see that coming out, in order to take them as this first super spawn. But in the meantime, Zagara is actually going to get spotted out and caught out, trying to place a creep tumor. So she's just going to end up dying there. She got hit by a lot of things. The Sonya's Ancient Spear coming down, the Stitches, Slam, the Root, and finally Tyrande, Lunar Flare. First tribute is actually going to be spawning in the top lane, and I don't know if Infinity are going to be able to capture this in time before Fire and the Host are able to come up and just stop this with the rest of the team. Urini on that James doing a lot of good work in stopping this, but Leoric in fact actually having to do a short wraith walk to get away, not going to be able to do so. He's draining a lot of health from the Stitches, but alas, he does fall. Meanwhile, Karazin falls bottom lane, I think, to Miss Kodge. Solo, that's something doing a lot of work, or wherever Karazin fell. He fell solo. Jaina does end up getting picked up by the Zagaras. Hunter Kings and Roaches come down. A lot of extra damage. Kandar able to force out some focus onto him. Body blocks coming out, so the hook's not going to be able to land on Inception, who did end up channeling and capturing the tribute for Infinity eSports. York able to get himself away just in time. Meanwhile, bottom lane still being soaked. They have a big experience advantage on the side of Find the Host. Miss Kodge on this Sonya, just doing whatever the hell she pleases. It's been playing very well all tournaments. Hard camp being taken by Find the Host as well. Infinity eSports not taking any of their camps so far, just kind of recoup their losses and potentially regain the experience loss. Full wall being taken down the bottom, and only half of it being taken for each team. Mafia and the end up deciding to back to get full mana as this next tribute spawns within the next, I think, 15 seconds. We'll see it spawn. So we'll see if I'm right. I didn't actually note the timing, so I could be wrong here. Both bosses are up, and we might see one of the teams go for those sorts of bosses anytime soon, especially Fire in the Host, as it was 20 seconds, my bad. As Sonya's very, very good at helping take bosses. She does a lot of single target focus damage, as well as being able to be quite tanky herself and regen a lot. Now, Infinity eSports have got a good position for this tribute spawning, as in fact Kael'thas and Karazim are going to be able to come up from the bottom lane into relatively good position. But you've always got to be worried about trying to channel this tribute, as the Stitches is only going to hook you away. That will mean probably death for the player that gets hooked. A really good gravity lapse coming out from the Kael'thas, able to save out his team there. He did actually get caught out there, but Inception going to get hooked, and so much damage going on to him. The Tyrande with that amplified damage range mark landing on her, and she just falls immediately to the Jaina, Frostbolt, Coda Cold, and Blizzard combo. Kael'thas doing a lot of damage with his Empowered Flame Strike, but the Leoric's going to go down well. It's going to be 2 for nothing. In fact, Kren going to get hooked. Going to be able to Dwarf Toss himself out, but a root landing on him, he might end up falling, going to back away. Makalo and Chevitas, in fact, they don't look as if they're going to be able to get out. Chevitas is in fact going to die, as is Kondar. I don't know why why in fact Kondar is... He does fall in the end. He decided to revive there. That's kind of giving away kills to Fire in the Host, as they are successfully taking this tribute. So 1 for 1. It's not the end of the world, but Fire in the Host do have their heroics. And again, we see Ring of Frost, Putrid Bile come out with Tranquility. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get my Twilight Dream, Wrath of the Berserker, and finally Shadow Stalk. So 2 big healing ultimates come down. In fact, this is exactly what I said. We'll see. We're going to have Sonya clear out this creep wave and then probably come down and help with this boss. With Tyrande with the amplified damage, these bosses will fall very, very quickly. Kren, though, on the Modin is going to spot this out. So I don't really know what Infinity eSports can do about this. If anything, their team's not reacting immediately, and I think they need to if they want to stop this. I don't think Modin is going to be able to prevent this boss from being taken without throwing away his life. And we are going to get Nick returning, so I'm going to call him immediately and get him into this game. Hello, Nick. You've missed a lot. We have 7 kills for the side of Fire in the Hosts, and 1 kill for Infinity eSports. A full level advantage for Fire in the Host. 1 tribute each, as the 3rd tribute does end up spawning in a favourable position for Fire in the Host.
I'm a few minutes behind on the server as I reconnect, so I will come in as soon as I am back up to speed.
Well, we did get Tranquility and not Twilight Dream. Second tribute being taken there for Fire in the Storms. They actually go to take Infinity eSports boss, and they're going to get sandwiched here, and this could spell disaster for them. Huge Entomb coming down from the Leoric. Actually, only catching out 1. I thought it caught 2 initially, but the Shadow Stalk comes in, try and save them out. Fantastic Ring of Frost, going to pop the stasis from Karazim. Actually, though, it was a really good Divine Palm on himself. Meanwhile, Stitches is the first to fall, and a huge Devouring Maw, locking the Sonya into that fight, catching out 3, and that's going to be a 1 team fight for Infinity eSports. Absolutely cleaning up. Phenomenal Maw from the Zagara there, meaning the Sonya is guaranteed to die in at least 1 follow-up kill, but in fact, they do end up getting 2. And that means Infinity eSports are going to be able to take their boss, and the tribute spawns right next to them, which is just perfect. That couldn't have been better for them. Now, the last two tributes... in fact, the last tribute spawned top, so it was 50-50 whether it was going to be top or bottom. It does end up spawning bottom in favour of Infinity, so they're going to be able to get the boss and then their tribute quite happily, I would imagine, although Maximus going to potentially try a hook, stunned by the Muradin, not going to try that hook immediately, and still contest for this tribute.
So Kren's going to sit there and he's going to channel that, but the nice hook there from Miskosh is going to stop that from being taken. A Drain Hope going to come down from the Leoric, and an Owl just to make sure you're not going to take that while we're backed off a little bit. Yeah, Maximus in a nice place for a hook, and a nice hook over there for the Muradin. Muradin's going to take a bit of damage, but he can always dwarf toss back over the wall as he does. Meanwhile, Miskosh is going to catch the Leoric. Nice whirlwind there. He's going to take him down with a follow-up Ring of Frost. It's also going to catch a couple. Karazim is in a bad place there and looking low, but he does dash away to the Kael'thas, who's been sitting on the sidelines, able to just put a bit of damage down. So, fantastic team fight there from Fire in the Host. So,
yeah, they're going to end up taking this tribute, and in fact, getting the curse, which will be a fort down in bottom at least for them.
So it's like I'm their lucky charm. I came back, and they came back into this game.
Oh no, Fire in the Host were ahead. It's just mouse control. Sorry, not mouse control. Infinity eSports just took such a favourable fight in order to defend their boss and take it and capture it, which ended up, I didn't even notice, took the fort down in bottom entirely.
That bottom lane is very, very empty down there. So, very good for them there. So, Fire in the Host are going to go follow up. They're going to try and catch the Zagara, go put a lot of damage down. They're going to take the Bruiser camp away.
You just saw how much damage. It was like 100% down to about 10%. One hook, the follow-up stun from Tehran with the amplified damage, and then a Jaina Blizzard. That was it. 3 abilities were used, and she was practically dead. Like, anything else landing on her and she would have died. So that's just such crazy burst damage that's possible out from Fire in the Host.
Yeah. So something to note with Sonya there. What she can actually do if she's got a focused attack, she can hit her Wrath of Berserker and then the focused attack, and it puts down a lot of damage. She didn't do it in this instance, but it could be something we see later. Nice hook there from Maximus on the Leoric, who is while his team were trying to whack away. They don't pick the Leoric up for it, but they are just going to make sure Infinity eSports don't want to fight them anymore because
we had the Ring of Frost, Shadowstalk, and Malfurion's Ice Block committed to that retreat, but because Cursol is such a kind of a big, not slow but not really a fast pace map, I think the cooldown times on those are going to be completely reset before we even get any more kind of team fighting action.
Yeah, most the ultimates here, relatively low 50 to 60 second ultimates, apart from the Devouring Maw, the Avatar, and the Tranquility, which are going to be the big 100 second ones there, and the Ring of Frost, which is in the middle at an 80. So timing the fights around those heroics is definitely going to be something both teams are going to look at. But it is in favour of Fire in the Host having those shorter cooldowns for the majority.
Yeah, now, Fire in the Host did actually have an experience advantage for most of this game, but they're actually down a small amount of experience as their boss spawns up in the top right, or they look to potentially party bush or even try and take it.
They're just going to look to take this. They can't see that Kael'thas down in the bottom, so regardless of what fight starts, it will be a 5 versus 4 here, and if they do position themselves well, they should be able to take the boss relatively easy. Muradin going to dwarf toss himself in and actually going to claim that boss from them. So fantastic.
Yeah,
boss
the
steal
huge Zagara Maw.
That Maw doing work. Big Entomb coming out, keeping them locked in so they can put some damage down on there while the Phoenix is going to lock them up. Avatar just sitting and wailing on the Jaina, who's going to run away. Sonya in the middle, but she is against 4 who are able to get through her healing and take her down. Jaina going to pop that ice block, but she's just going to be surrounded and going to go down. Stitches is going to try and walk out. A nice hook there for to get the Karazim back in, but a gravity lapse is going to follow that up. Where the
that Karazim bait!
Nice
I don't even understand that Karazim bait. That was some next level stuff there. That was amazing. And yeah, as you say, a full 5-man wipe. The Zagara Maw just absolutely outstanding. The Muradin not pushed away from it either, and he was able to then capture the boss as he was just sat there. They take a keep from the back of that amazing fight.
The boss is pushing
the
up. The
fort's not even dead.
So the boss is going to be pushing up on those gates at the top. The tribute is up for them to take, and their own boss is up. They're probably going to wrap around and take that. There is an owl flying. Will Tyrande be on point? Yes, she is. So she stops Kandar claiming that tribute.
Yeah, again, she's taken the Pierce Talon to level 4, which is really good for interrupting on this map. But second tribute going the way of Infinity Esports, and their boss is up, and we will probably see another fight over another boss. And without level 16, I'm worried for Fire in the Host's chances to come back and to win a fight in this.
Another scouting arrow there. I'm not quite sure whether it saw all the members of Infinity Esports. It was very close. So Infinity Esports going to back off just in case they were seen by that owl. That second owl comes through, so they know that Infinity are definitely not doing this boss. Meaning Fire in the Host are going to gather up towards this bot side. But the tribute is going to spawn top. So on Fire in the Host side of the map, nice easy rotation for them, and Infinity Esports going to claim their siege camp and come along to this party. But will they be a little too late here?
No, I actually think Infinity Esports are making a mistake. I think they should just take their boss. This tribute doesn't matter to them, and in fact they're going to turn up late and lose it immediately. And this is time they could have been spending taking their boss and pushing their advantages that they've got, and they're not going to. And in fact, Tyrande's going to, again, with her Phoenix, or rather her Owl, her Sentinel, whatever skin she's got on, the Sentinel coming down, she's going to constantly scout this out. And now we have Infinity Esports starting this boss.
But is it a bit late for this boss? There's no pressure on Fire in the Host at the moment, and another owl flies past and is going to see that. Stitches is going to wait for a little bit of backup, watching the health there. But we're going to see an engage and big shadow stock coming out there to allow them to engage in. Stitches in the middle, but the Muradin's just not going to get shifted off that, and the Devouring Maw takes Fire in the Host out of that, so the boss is going to go over to Infinity Esports. Big dwarf toss there into the middle wall. He's got that avatar up, able to get onto the Jaina, but we do see Zagara falling for Infinity Esports, and they take this as an option to back up. Big status there from Jaina, going to stop that chain bomb from killing her, and Malfurion popping a couple of heals to keep himself up. But the tribute's actually going to spawn right where this fight just started. So Infinity Esports now a man down. Their boss is going to be pushing in the bottom lane, so somebody from Fire in the Host is going to have to go and deal with that, and it looks like it's going to be Jaina. We're going to have a 4-on-4 fight if a fight for this tribute were to break out, but it didn't. Instead, Fire in the Host picking it up, and now both teams are on 2 apiece, and the next one will be a curse. Malfurion sticking around too long, trying to ice block, but getting picked off.
Yeah, the Shadowstalk came out, but the invisibility was removed almost immediately, and it wasn't quite enough.
Cool. So, looks like a mid-fort, easily going to be picked up here for Infinity.
So you have already taken the keep in that lane, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying. Yeah.
When you kill a fort, the minions in that lane beef up a little bit, and then when you kill,
in fact, I don't believe they do. If you just kill a fort, it's simply an experience gain, isn't it?
It's just an experience gain.
Yeah, I believe it's just an experience gain, and a keep. The minions don't get any stronger; only the catapults.
They just get the catapults. Spawn, yeah. Okay, so there isn't actually any minion increase there. As for some reason I thought there was. It might have been quite a while ago. That was there. This boss is going to come up. They're just rotating boss to boss now, and we're just going to have boss fights again and again. So Infinity Esports positioning for this. Nice Stitches hook though. Grabs the Karazim, who dashes away and gets out. Nice Ring of Frost coming out. The chain bombs from Kael'thas just flying around everywhere. Avatar popped by Kren. Stitches is going to go down. Malfurion popping that Tranquility. And Fire in the Host are on the back foot here. Going to look to try and run away. Jaina getting picked up and taken down. This leaves Infinity Esports 5 members to Fire in the Host 3 members. They're going to just push straight towards the core by the looks of it. They're going to take down the Tyrande.
Yeah, and we're going to have a GG called out here from Fire in the Host, and this means that Infinity Esports are going to come through this. And I don't think I've ever seen Devouring Maw used so incredibly well. I mean, Devouring Maw is a good ability, don't get me wrong, but that was complete. Inception, whilst he did a lot of damage for his team, he was completely the MVP for me, though, that game. Those Devouring Maws were on point 100% of the time. There was never a bad Devouring Maw that game. Even if it missed people, it still zoned and just did so much, and it turned and won every single fight for Infinity eSports. So yeah, GG to them.
eSports are going to move to the final. The final is going to be a best of 3 as opposed to the best of 1s we've been running from now. And they are going to face a seemingly becoming week-on-week rival here. They're going to face the Palando boys in the final, who managed to beat out No Mercy HyperX.